Bulls Nation, it seems that the Chicago Bulls have been receiving a lot of hate or a lot of disrespect by the mainstream media and ESPN and whatnot. And ladies and gentlemen, it's time for me to give my opinion on this situation with ESPN, where they've ranked us to finish in the Eastern Conference and all of these things that the Chicago Bulls fans seem to be very upset about. Now, without further ado, let's talk about the Chicago Bulls, let's talk about the mainstream media, and let's talk about ESPN in this video. Let's do it. What's going on, everybody? It's the Aidan Sports Show, and welcome back to another video. Today we've got a Chicago Bulls related video referring to the mainstream media disrespecting the Chicago Bulls once again in their recent standings positionings and where they see the Chicago Bulls finishing, and why this is very important, why also this is not very important. But before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Aidan Sports Show YouTube channel, turn notifications on, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls and their positioning and their finishing in the Eastern Conference according to ESPN. And of course, without further ado, it's time to say, drum roll ladies and gentlemen, the Chicago Bulls are expected to finish 9th in the Eastern Conference with ESPN according to ESPN. And I just can't believe it. I just can't believe it. I could not accept what ESPN said. I can't believe the disrespect that they put on the Chicago Bulls. So I spent hours and hours and hours trying to figure out what was in their heads when they thought that was a good idea. Why would they think such terrible things to the Chicago Bulls? And all of this nonsense that they've been talking about, putting us 9th, is ridiculous. And I finally come up with the solution. After hours and hours of research, communication, I figured out why ESPN thought we would finish 9th in the Eastern Conference, and I have a video to show you to demonstrate why. So without further ado, let's go to the video.
It doesn't matter what you think.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It doesn't matter what ESPN says about the Chicago Bulls, and it doesn't matter what mainstream media says about the Chicago Bulls. Reality is, it doesn't matter what I say, what anybody else says. It's all down to the Chicago Bulls if they're going to prove people wrong. Finishing 9th in the Eastern Conference, according to ESPN, is the last thing that I'm concerned about. It's one of those things I never pay attention to. But we're going to talk about the mainstream media now, ladies and gentlemen, because at the end of the day, I don't hate the mainstream media. I know many people like the smaller channels, like YouTube channels, like Bulls Central, myself, other Chicago Bulls channels, and specific fan pages that allow us to be at, I guess, a proper fan channel. We solely speak about the Chicago Bulls, and that's when most people start to understand more about the Bulls. The mainstream media is not like that, and they've never claimed to be like that. When I look at the mainstream media, all I see is educated guesses on situations. There might be reporters and in the know people that know where players are going before it happens and all of that, and that's where the mainstream media does come in handy. But when they're talking about, can the Chicago Bulls make the Eastern Conference Finals, or can the Chicago Bulls make the playoffs, it's an educated guess. It's nothing more, it's nothing less but a guess. That's what their shows are all about. It's about guessing what's going to happen in the future. So their guess is different to my guess, different to a lot of people's guesses, and that's okay. Their guess could be wrong, our guess could be wrong. I don't care about this situation. ESPN has done a lot of shows, and I enjoy some of their shows. I like The Jump, I like First Take, I like The Starters, which was on YouTube. I don't know if that's on ESPN or TNT. I don't know where that's from. But the reality is, I enjoy these shows, and it's okay to enjoy these shows. The mainstream media is not all bad. However, they've seemed to disrespect a lot of Chicago Bulls fans in this recent let's finish 9th in the Eastern Conference. They think we're going to make the play-in tournament. And all I have to say is, I don't agree with that statement. That's all I'm going to say. I do not agree with that statement. I think the teams that they have put in front of the Chicago Bulls, we have potential to be better than them. And I'll give you an example here of ESPN. I think it was First Take, when it was Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman. They were talking about the New York Knicks and the Chicago Bulls, who's a better team. And obviously, Stephen A. Smith, being a New York Knicks fan, he backed his own team, the New York Knicks. I can respect that. Then Max Kellerman is talking about how the Chicago Bulls starting lineup is better than the Knicks starting lineup, and how we have a better team on paper, and how he sees the Bulls being better than the Knicks that year. That was on ESPN. So it's not like this is all of ESPN's opinions. This is probably one or two people's opinions put onto a list and shown to the world. Again, I don't know how they did it, but ninth in the Eastern Conference, not even everybody on ESPN agrees with that. So the reality is, I'm not upset with what ESPN said because I just don't value it as much as I value the comments in my comment section. I don't value it as much as other YouTube channels. I don't value it as much as people that constantly look at the Chicago Bulls. And at the end of the day, that's all I could really say on the situation. Every Eastern Conference team has gotten better. So if they want to put us ninth in the Eastern Conference, we're in the play-in tournament now, and we have to fight for our position in the Eastern Conference. That's their choice to make, and they're going to have to live with the decision whether they're right or wrong. I think the Chicago Bulls, minimum, will be a top 6 team. And I think at their highest, they could potentially be within the top 4, top 3 seeds. I'm not saying they're the best team in the East. I think many people that do see that, we just don't know what the situation. Maybe we are lower than 6. I don't know. But the reality is, my opinion will differ to theirs. Your opinions will differ to theirs. I don't hate ESPN for doing something like this. But the reality is, it does not matter what they say. Educated guesses is all they have to go off. Same with most people, it's educated guesses. And I choose to believe the Chicago Bulls are better than the 9th seed. I think minimum we should be in the playoffs. And I'm talking about the 8th seed. That's the minimum we should be. If we fall into the 9th seed, even if there is a play-in tournament, I don't like that situation. We should be the 8th seed. We should be beyond the 8th seed. We should be a top 5 team. We should be a top 6 teams in the Eastern Conference, and potentially more than that. That's what I see the Chicago Bulls being. So the reality is, ESPN, everybody that has to make an opinion on this situation, the disrespect that we've gotten, regardless of that, it's just more to add fuel to the fire, to the point to prove. I talked a lot about the bench needing to prove a point to the rest of the league because we're not exactly main scorers or highlight players or well-known bench players. These are players that have point to prove and players that are desperate for opportunities, and that's exactly why they have a point to prove to the rest of the league, that they've been slept on by their teams, and this is the team that's going to give them that chance to become that better bench in the league compared to other teams. Point to prove. But the starters, the whole team has a point to prove, and they had the point to prove from the very beginning. Ever since we acquired DeMar DeRozan, everybody has been giving their 2 cents on the Chicago Bulls. The fit's not going to work. We don't have a system that can gel the right way. These players are not good enough to be a top Eastern Conference team. DeMar DeRozan doesn't suit the modern day NBA team. Lonzo Ball's overrated. All these things does not matter to me. I don't care what they say. It's up to the Chicago Bulls to prove them wrong. And if the Chicago Bulls can prove them wrong, they're going to be sitting there making new arguments, talking more disrespect about the Chicago Bulls in new ways, saying, oh, look, yeah, they made the playoffs, but now they're not going to be a championship team. They're not going to be that. They're just going to keep finding more ways to disrespect the team. That's what it's like being a big team in the NBA. You will have other teams, fan bases, you'll have expert opinions, you'll have all of these things trying to discredit what you do. It happens with the Brooklyn Nets, it happens with the Lakers, it happens with the Clippers all the time. It happened with the Bucks before they won the championship. This is what it's like being one of the bigger teams in the Eastern Conference, being one of the bigger teams in the NBA, and being a high market value place like Chicago is. People are going to talk about you. People are going to disrespect you. People are going to say things you don't agree with. And that's all comes with being a big team in the NBA. Now it's just time for the Chicago Bulls to just prove those people wrong every single time they decide to open their mouth. And the reality is, us fans know we can do it. The Bulls players have a feeling they can do it. They're working hard to show that they can do it. And now it all comes down to if the Chicago Bulls can do it. And we'll wait and see what happens. But as I said at the beginning of the video, you don't need to listen to ESPN. If you want to take their word as gospel, fine. That's up to you. But they're not the only place that will talk about sports. They're a high-valued channel. They're a high-valued place to go watch and get your sports opinion. So of course what they say is going to matter to a lot of people, but the reality is it's not the only place. There are many places that will talk about the Bulls in a much better standing. There are better places that will speak about the Bulls in the way that they're supposed to be spoken about, because these guys, as good as they are, as entertaining as they are, they can't keep up with all 30 teams, all 30 executive decisions, everything going around the league. These shows can't keep up with all of it. they have to get help from other people as well. So at the end of the day, when you talk about solely about the Chicago Bulls, you're better off going to YouTube channels. You're better off going to specific places where the Bulls are a main focus. These are the things that matter to Chicago Bulls fans. So at the end of the day, I'm not bothered. I don't care. The reality is, I'm only making this video because many people do care. And I'm not one of those people. I don't care what ESPN have to say about the Bulls. And I guess this is my one and only video talking about ESPN. I'm still going to watch their shows. I'm still going to have a good time. I miss Shaq in the Fool and all these things. They're funny, they're great, they're entertaining, and I like them. So I'm going to keep watching them. But the reality is, it doesn't mean I have to care about everything they say. And that's something I feel like most Bulls fans need to take away from this. They disrespected our team. That doesn't mean that they're right. And let's see if they're proven right or wrong in the upcoming season. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. A little bit of a rant, to be honest. Yeah. We'll see what happens, ladies and gentlemen. Again, 9th seed, 8th seed. We could be the 1st seed. They're gonna find new ways to disrespect the Bulls. Not everybody is gonna be appreciative of what we've done. And the reality is, ESPN are just one of those people, one of those places that just don't respect what the Bulls have done, or just see it as not a major increase from what we were last year. But it's just up to the Bulls to prove them wrong. And I truly think they can. We'll see what happens. Have a wonderful and safe day, Bulls Nation. I'll see you in another Chicago Bulls video. Take care and peace.